And for those spiders who make it through, it amounts to a kind of rebirth.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
Hello everybody, my name's the Eclipse Kid, and we love Jesus on this channel, and we talk about movies on this channel. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. And this is another unscripted yap session on the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that has finally released. Now, if you've been on this channel that far back, you know that we have talked about Spider-Man Brand New Day a little bit, like some of the news leading up to it, even though I kind of dropped the ball on being consistent with it. I didn't promise that though, so. Yeah, but the trailer is finally out. We're going to break down some stuff, give my thoughts on some stuff, give a bit of theories on some stuff, and give my take on some theories that are going around because of this trailer. And yeah, we're just gonna get into it, man, because Spider-Man is back.
A criminal! He stole my suit! He's a menace to the entire city! I want that wall-crawling arachnid prosecuted! I want him strung up by his web! I want Spider-Man!
Okay, so like I have the trailer playing on the side here. But I'll obviously show like screenshots and clips of it, but I'm just gonna talk about it piece by piece, you know. So we start off with a shot of Peter hanging upside down on this pole. Stuff like this was missing in his first trilogy, Tom Holland's first trilogy. New York being an atmosphere, an environment, and not just simply a setting. Because Homecoming, we were in New York, we weren't chilling in New York. We weren't the crime didn't happen in the city, it happened elsewhere, including DC. That's why I like that little montage at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming, when he's just being a little friendly neighborhood guy. And then Far From Home just takes place in Europe, and just European countries. I don't like that movie, that's a video for another day. And then No Way Home takes place in New York, but the stakes are so incredibly high that you can't even pay attention to that. So, I'm glad that in this movie it seems like they're rectifying that. And we see him watching this video of, it seems like it's from, because we know there's a 4-year time skip between this and No Way Home, and they were just getting acceptance letters from colleges. So meaning, he's probably watching an old video that they made when they're first going to MIT on top of this building. And I saw this really funny video too. It was Spider-Man has a phone? He's not suffering enough. You know, because a lot of people are just love this trailer because Peter is just going through it. His life just sucks. And I don't like the trailer because of that. That's sad. That's supposed to be sad. That's part of the Spider-Man character, though. He's supposed to fight through that, you know? But he jumps off of this building to go fight some crime. And we get this very nice shot of him, of the inside of his mask, of his eye on the inside of the mask, which is really good. And I'll talk about this now. The color grading in a lot of the trailer is more dreary than the previous 3 movies. It's much more dreary feeling. Not too much. The colors on the suit still pop, but it's very obviously toned down. And it's going to get some getting used to, but I think that represents what I think part of the whole theme of the movie is pretty well. So I'll let it slide. Plus, I don't think that post-production is not fully finished for this movie, by the way. So that's why I do think some of the CGI in some areas look just a tiny bit questionable. But I think that can be chalked up to it's not fully done yet, and they wanted something to show us. But I like the new style. It's different. Destin Daniel Crenton is directing this movie, if you didn't know. In terms of Marvel, he directed Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, which has some of the best fight choreography and action of the entire MCU. And he also was the showrunner of Wonder Man, which I did a video on that. Go check it out right now. It's a very good show. I gave my thoughts on that in that video. Go watch it. But now he's directing this movie, and we'll get into some of the more action scenes later. But you can tell he's going for a little bit more serious Spider-Man, but like not too serious that it's like depressing. You know, we're gonna keep going with the trailer though, and we see like there's this voiceover of Peter like reading this letter, contemplating like he wants to tell Ned and MJ that he's Spider-Man to try and get them to remember again. And it's really sad because that No Way Home ending is actually, I feel like it's a lot sadder and more powerful than people give it credit for. Not gonna lie. So he's like, my name's Peter Parker. You probably don't remember me, but blah 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 blah. And then he's just watching Ned and MJ have this new life, and he's just like a stranger to them now. There's a shot of him sitting next to the washing machine while his suit is in the washing machine. And that type of shot is just like, that was my phone. But it's just like, wow, this man is depressed. I feel bad for him. You know? I feel like that shot really, I think this shot that I have up on screen right now really encapsulates that feeling, and I really like it. So, and then spoilers for Daredevil Season 2 right now, even though it hasn't come out yet. But we see Spider-Man getting a key to the city, and I don't think Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, would be too happy on giving Spider-Man a key to the city. So this is obviously implying, or we know that this movie takes place after Daredevil Season 2, and this is very obviously implying that Kingpin in some way gets defeated at the end of that season and is no longer the mayor of New York City. Which you probably could assume that, but like still. And then there's a bunch of, it's part of like the contract. You know how Marvel and Sony have this contract for Spider-Man that's really weird. So it's part of the contract that Kingpin's like a really complicated part of it, because he is a Spider-Man villain, but not exclusively. So he can't really show up in the movie. But I'm sure if all the legal stuff was able to be roughed out, he would be showing up in this movie. But continuing on, he receives this key to the city, and they're really showing how like Spider-Man, it's like we've been hearing for the past like over a year or so. This is gonna feel similar to the Batman in the way that he's Batman for most of the movie, and he's kind of losing himself. Like, he's losing Peter Parker, like Batman was losing Bruce Wayne. He was like, Bruce Wayne was becoming the mask. Like Peter Parker is becoming the mask, and Spider-Man is becoming the person. You know? So. And then we get this shot of Ned and MJ watching the TV, like really concerned looking. Wonder what that's about. But we get Spider-Man running off this building and a web swinging into the or it's probably like a different cut, but into the action sequence of the tank that was being filmed for like weeks, in like last August, that was being publicly shown. We finally see some bits of that, and it looks really, really nice. And then we get Spider-Man gets hit by a black van, and it's the Punisher's van. And the scene is like really funny. It's like, what the heck, Frank? He hit me with a van. Quit your whimpering, kid. Like, and then Spider-Man, he just winds back and shoots back. He kicks Frank out the back of the car, and he's like, and then Frank's like, mother, and then like Spider-Man like webs his mouth. It's like, go home. Bro, he got censored. And that looks like a really funny, but can also be a really compelling dynamic if they get the characterization of Punisher right. Which I have no reason to think that they won't. They just have to, like, tone him. I feel like they just have to tone him down, like, a little bit. They don't have to tone him down, like, too much. And you can imply a lot of the violence, too, that he's inevitably going to do to some people. And have that be a really compelling arc for Peter to battle with, you know? Okay. So, next, let's see. Yeah, we got Peter at this party, MJ and Ned, and we see this guy hitting on MJ. And obviously, Peter can't do anything about this because MJ never doesn't remember that Peter was her boyfriend, obviously. She's been single for the past 4 years. Like for this, all intents and purposes, she's been single for the past 4 years. And then people are calling him Paul, because, you know, if you know Paul, you know Paul. But we'll just call him Paul. And then Peter's looking here, like, absolutely disgusted. And then we get this shot of Peter just, like, sweaty, looks like a little bruise, just collapsing on the apartment floor. And then the next shot we get of him is him in his underwear in this spider cocoon on the roof of a building. Like, and it's similar to a storyline in the comics where his genes are mutating and he gets organic webbing, Tobey Maguire style. Yeah, so they're going that route. I don't actually hate it. I like the way they're handling it right now. Looks good. Yeah, so that is very interesting. So then we see Peter going to Bruce Banner, who is this professor at looks like Empire State University. Whether he's actually attending that college or not is unknown. Maybe he's just like wearing this like shirt to get to him. So he's like asking him for help and stuff. And like an interesting thing about this that people have been bringing up for a while now is that the spell that Doctor Strange did at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home made everybody who knew Peter Parker in that universe forget him. Now, the interesting part about this, obviously the spell would affect Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner does not remember who Peter Parker is. But if you think about it, the Hulk was not there. So if he transforms into the Hulk, which we've been hearing about for the past year, that is going to be Savage Hulk again, Hulk would remember Spider-Man. Would remember Peter Parker. Even though they didn't even interact that much, he would remember who he was. So that could be interesting to see where that goes. And by the way, I'm just loving the practical suit on this. Like, they're not using unnecessary CGI. They're only using CGI when they need it. Which is still a lot, but... and then Bruce Banner explains to Peter, with gene mutation, it can be extremely dangerous. Well, obviously. Then we get this really nice shot of Peter crashing into this water tower, and then, web swinging off a building. We see him visiting Aunt May's grave. Really sad, obviously. Rest in peace, Aunt May. And then we see this character trapped in this glass box, which is a simulated teenager's room, or somebody's room, in this completely lab, white facility. and somebody is strapped up in a chair, and we are thinking, because like there's two other shots in the trailer I'll talk about right now. Like after the end of the chase, he culminates in Spider-Man opening the door, figuring out it's just this old lady driving it, and then these two other agents behind him, it looks like they're about to get they start getting mind controlled. So it seems like there's a character in this movie who's mind controlling people to do things. And what character would do that? And has red hair? And would be fairly young at this time? Jean Grey. That's probably who Sadie Sink is playing. Because we see another shot of her in this trench coat type of fit in Peter's apartment. And it seems as if she's going to be some kind of antagonistic role, at least at some point in the movie. And we have been hearing that Frank Castle, Punisher, is going to be kind of protecting her throughout the movie, and then she's be doing some reckless stuff, which is why he's getting involved in this situation. So that is really interesting. And then we get a wonderful, wonderful look at Scorpion. And even though I think the suit can be better, it could be a little more green. Even though it's greener than Blanchard's. That doesn't matter, though. I feel like the CGI on the suit, on the style, I really like it. Feels heavy, but also nimble. I really like it. And then Jamal Tillman's character, he's the director of, let's see, what's it called? I think it's the damage control. The same thing we saw in, what's it called? Wonder Man. So they're probably going to be hunting mutants just like they said they would in Wonder Man. And why wouldn't they be hunting Jean Grey? And why wouldn't Jean Grey be on the run if she's going crazy? So that makes perfect sense. So then we get this shot of MJ and Pete and Spider-Man on this building at night. My assumption is that something bad happened, obviously, and then Peter ended up saving MJ. Now, I feel like Jean Grey will be used as some plot device, whether in this movie or a future movie, to help Ned and MJ remember who Peter Parker is, because she can recover memories and stuff like that. That's part of her powers, her telepathy powers. But another interesting thing that was brought up that I didn't even think about was, even though Ned and MJ have no memory of Peter Parker, they still have many memories of Spider-Man saving them. So all those times that Spider-Man was saving them in the past 3 movies, they remember. They remember all of that. But, so that's going to be interesting to see, because actually no, I'll talk about that at the end of the trailer. And then we get a very interesting voiceover from a actor who very suspiciously sounds like Keith David. Iconic voice actor Keith David. Now, this is interesting because he is, if you don't know, he's the voice of Tombstone in Spectacular Spider-Man, but he is not playing Tombstone in this movie. That is Marvin Jones III, who's playing Tombstone in this film. So who is he playing? And that's going to be interesting. He's talking about the life cycles of a spider, and then at the end it eventually culminates in him saying, it culminates in rebirth. And that's kind of what this whole movie is, a rebirth, a little bit of a soft reboot in terms of style and tone for Spider-Man in this universe. And then we get a montage of Peter saving people, the image you were looking at for the past 20 minutes of him recreating the iconic comic cover, him fighting Boomerang with that comic cover, fighting Tarantula with that comic cover. And this is, with these shots, I think you can see what I'm talking about. With some of the shots and CGI still looking a bit rough. But I can forgive them because this movie's not done yet. And then we get this awesome shot of the Hand. They're this criminal organization, heavily connected with Daredevil and Punisher, by the way, who've probably been hired out by, I'm assuming, Tombstone to break out probably Scorpion, I would assume. And then they're about to jump Spider-Man, and then his eyes just go black, and then the webs grab onto the sword. He just shatters it. Amazing. And then there's another shot of him about to fight them outside, near some buildings. And people have pointed out with this shot, there's a lot of open space, below where Spider-Man is, that the ninjas are going for. Now, people have pointed out, the trailers for No Way Home, of that shot when Peter was diving towards Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard, and then it seemed like the Lizard was, jumping at nothing, and then got kicked by nothing. And then it was revealed in the final movie that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man were also there in that same shot. Now, I'm not saying that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are here. They're probably not. But probably some other important character or characters in that shot. Or it's just a weirdly framed shot. It could be Jean Grey there. It's probably Jean Grey. It could be Hulk there, for all we know. But I don't know about Hulk, because the rest of the environment just does not make sense for it to be Hulk. It could be Daredevil could make a cameo in this movie. That's a very fair possibility. I mean, Matt Murdock, the lawyer Matt Murdock, was in Spider-Man No Way Home. But Daredevil could be showing up. That would be nice. And then that is pretty much where the trailer ends. Oh, wait, there's one last scene here of, Peter, going to MJ's apartment for, I guess a housewarming party. Because Ned and MJ's moved into a new apartment. And that's where, he sees, the new guy, the new boyfriend and stuff. He brings these flowers, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a friendly I'm a neighbor from across the hall. And then MJ's like, a friendly neighbor? I hope Jaden... You know what? Whatever. I hope I just put the meme there, An interesting thing about this, the last shot of this trailer with Peter in MJ's apartment, assumingly talking to her, there's this giant board of Spider-Man, pictures and stuff. It looks like a theory string board of Spider-Man pictures, because obviously MJ would probably be wondering why her memories are so fragmented and why Spider-Man's so involved with it. So she's probably investigating that. And that is pretty much where the trailer ends. I thought that was a really good trailer. It set the tone very well. It looks like an exciting movie. Hopefully a compelling story. So, I think it can be really good. One thing I want to talk about before I end this video off is people were thinking Peter could turn into Man-Spider by the end of this. I think they could do that. And he could be, his own final boss. I feel that would fit with the theme as well, but I don't know if I would want that per se. I wouldn't mind it, but it's not my preferred choice. And we still don't know, because Mr. Negative could still possibly be involved with this movie. We don't know that, though. Jean Grey's role is still... We know that it's Jean Grey now, pretty much, but it's still a very ambiguous kind of role. And, yeah, that's really... going through my head, that's really all I can think of for this movie. For this trailer, for this video. And this movie's gonna come out, and it's gonna be really good. I can't see how they're gonna mess this up. I can't. It just seems like a very nice change of pace. A natural step, because I feel like the natural step took a little long, but it's okay. And with that, that is pretty much it. Hope you guys liked it. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Spread the word of this channel. And Jesus Christ loves you. He died on the cross and rose 3 days later and died for your sins. And all you need to do is accept his love. I'm really telling you. Like, I'm really serious about that. I'm going to do a full series on that. But anyway, and that is it. Spider-Man fans, movie fans, whatever. Yep. Bye, 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 bye.